Hello everyone, this is Bridget Okunofa, your agribusiness consultant, the mushroom lady. This is so exciting, you will not believe what we are about to show you now. Right in front of a very prominent person I sat and I heard him talk. That is what formed the basis of this discussion. Please stay tuned as I introduce you to a very special guest, person, high personality that you would love to hear from. And his name is, he is His Imperial Royal Majesty, King Professor Bakti Ojoy, RAGP, the Aba Obazi, the fourth Ni Ashambo, Ashambo, Abakwema, Obakwema, the second. He is the hereditary ancestral royal king of Tuma, Ga Dangbe Amo, Ga Dangbe Amo Kingdom in Ghana, worldwide. Please help me say well done to this king that I am sitting with right now. It is an honor, a privilege to be sitting to that man with that. Africa is power. If you've looked at some of my videos, some of my comments, some of my talks, you'll hear where I talk about how somebody told me that Africa is the hub of the world. And I heard him speak about Africa. That one thing he did say that is an African. Isn't that amazing? The people that are white, the Western world, and the black Africans are all Africans. There has been a bit of argument here and there, but today we have heard the truth. So, let me take you to a brief talk. No, before I go, there is a beautiful dancer. Hey, she's I will roll the camera to her. She's pretty. In fact, I don't want to tell you too many things, but she's really pretty. I would like for her to introduce herself. Please, ma'am, can you introduce yourself?
Just Gloria Johnson,
A mother of five, can you even believe that?
I think that is what caught the king's
Eyes.
attention. But sincerely speaking, it's an honor to be with the king because I've had him speak earlier and I was overwhelmed. He's a typical African, he's an inspiration to anybody that sits and listens to him. And I'm sure you all will be captivated as well as educated and probably motivated. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everyone. So now let's go to the king. Let the king.
Recording now. There are about five, ways of communicating. One by natural birth, by dint of the fact that you have from the genetic royal line, called the royal descent, where your ancestors killed. Then the second one again is by the emergence of the family, where maybe you're not running monarchy, by one house, or you run monarchy by such. And inside that too, the politics of emergence will be by selection. So it is not by age. So you can, so that way too, for instance, the whole year, he has other people. He's a minor, but when the education was zoned to his family, there was the context. If I know of immediacy, but the choice. So again, you can make that way. Then number three, by spiritual, the natural native spiritual, where the Gideon, the royal, a priest become announcing. Okay, that way again is by like I am ancestral. I am born hereditary. The fourth, that's why I'm the fourth. The fourth means that I am a reincarnation. The reincarnation of my ancestors, who by reason of my fourth generation, I decided to change something. My first generation was a warrior. I was a warrior, very prominent, great warrior, who will come and capture on this level. Do you know that even producing of children is level? Psalms 126, it says children are the reward, the reward, of humanity. of their labor. And then when for a woman to bring out a child is labor. You don't see what the importance of labor. Our talking like this is labor. For the man and woman to meet together, you may think it's enjoyment, but while the man is doing it, it's labor, it's sweating. So we must feel, and dig more, to bring out the goal. So we go back to the garden. So my position today is, while we talk about the unification of Africa through the royalties, because royalty is important. And until Africa is one united family, one indivisible family, that we are the family of God. Therefore, royalty means orderliness, honesty, and everything. And so I have come to establish the 21st century Pan-African royalties, Commonwealth royalties, beginning from London. What was the idea of the 21st century? The civil royalty. Then Pan-African is the Pan-Africanism, which is the agitation for the movement of Africa, total emancipation of Africa. So we are still agitating for total, freedom of Africa, which is in practical, not just in principle. And we are saying enough. Nobody, should go. No leader in Africa should go. Because if they say he who go borrowing goes sorrowing, and that is why the Europeans are the publishers. The French colonization, the British colonization has brought what they have. If they didn't come to Africa, no continent in the world would survive without Africa. You understand? That's why I talk about Africans in diaspora. They came, took us in slavery, and then used our traditional solution to demonize and to merchandise, trading, with them, making the people, they come to the power, and they brought the word rulership. Rulership is in the Bible, Genesis chapter 7. Let us take one and then let him rule. God created man to rule creation and not to rule man. Man was created as God. So nobody, that's why you see it's difficult to go for it. If I marry you and I want to bring her and hire you will resist. Because you are not meant to control, in that manner. You do submission. Submission is a total recognition of your relevant, the value, of what you have. This is my son. This is my husband. He was created before me. And God said, let me. So you are respecting man because of the authority of in creation. And the man must also know your value that the same God who created woman out of the man is the same God who put man inside the woman. And without the woman, there is no man. So you must respect the woman as your mother. And then when your father will pronounce to the woman and run away. But the child will remain with the mother. And if the mother does not do, there is no creation. So we must value women as we value the and that is it. Women are also productive element of creation. So man should go back to labor. Africa should go back to farming, which is the first mind. There were kingdoms that were lost because of the advent of colonization. Before the colonization came, Africa was already native. Do you know that we are 800 years on the throne, established as royalty before the British colonization came? You heard of the Sudan, you heard of the Mali Empire, the Sudan Empire, great empire that were even, in fact, the greatest of them was the Egyptian Empire. They will not tell you the mystery behind the pyramid. Which till today they are silent because it is above their understanding. That pyramid was built by hand, by Africa. Do you know that the Nimrod, the man in Genesis chapter 6, that they talk about the Tower of Babel, the Babylon, he was an African. I don't want to saddle you with those systems, but let's go back to our family. We want Africa, to be the whole, fruit of the nation of the world. So let's go back to that. One of the strategies are lying in mobilizing the African royalty. So I have changed the narrative from African traditional rulership to African traditional, African traditional leadership. Leadership is recognizing everybody's important. The woman, the children. If a leader should have vision, you should know that in time to come there will be population explosion. A leader should know that. That
A
the
leader,
more
please, Your Majesty, can you repeat that? A
yes,
leader
a
should
leader
be
should know.
futuristic.
You should
Should have vision.
visionary. You should know that in the next 10, 20 years, by the way we are now, the three of us here, we are going to produce 5 children. The 5 leaders should know that in the next 10, 20 years, we are going to have population explosion. So you must not bulldoze the land. You must push, you must have the vision. You must carry the people along. The youth not being the future of the nation is not about pushing them on the street without a platform, without any the trade, without giving them the vision for tomorrow by bringing them closer. You see the leadership of Jesus. He brought his disciples together. He was calm. He was simple. He was easy. He ate with them, slept with them, moved with them, to the point that the enemies were not able to know the difference between Jesus and other people. So leadership is about duplicating yourself. So you first start with your wife. Your wife
Leadership is about duplicating yourself.
And vision is about writing down the inspiration, the revelation that you have. And he said, write it down. For it may not necessarily
at an appointed time.
So those who now read about the writing will run with it. Wow. So we are talking about and it starts with the wife. So your wife should know everything about you. She should know at the salary you earn. She should know the vision you carry, so that she will compliment and support you. If she does not know what you are doing, you are running the opposite direction. And the favor and the blessing will not come. So things are made easier when your wife is your friend. Your wife is your sister.
So you're saying that make the vision plain.
Yes.
So that he that runs with it,
He that
if it run with it. So it is up to the man and the leadership to make the vision plain. And which will go back to the fact that in this place, history is not going to. What you are doing to us now is blowing our mind with facts, our history, which is educating us. Now,
the history is immense, like we have the Reality Life magazine. You heard it today. It's not all about just publishing stories, but it's about putting history back to the mainstream. Because if you just take the picture and there's no story, then what? When you document it, that is bad. The husband should not depend on the wife. The wife should not depend on the husband. But we should complement each other. You bring a little here, you bring a little here. And the family
there's no rivalry, there's no competition.
No by competition. And then you see submission in family. So what do we do? Why trying to introduce a lot of varieties, economic varieties? I focus on and that is why I am ambassador of fertilizer in Africa. And so we have holistic fertilizer. That is the best liquefied fertilizer. And rest of people will take it home. Why a bit of economy? Recycle. So you have been an activist, and that's why I'm not an activist. And a strong advocate. So this time around, I manifested by getting through a lot of humanitarian services. I am a clergy. I have attained the level of an archbishop. I've been there before and then today I'm also an academic. As a professor and academic professor who owns a private university. I am also in judicial, where I am a presiding judge. I am a traditional judge, what we call the district and customary judge. So I am in charge of all the district judges in the profession. I am the president and then the capital. So this becomes my basis for the activities of work. The recognizing the importance of it in our life. I also am a strong advocate of humanity and freedom. That's why today's award is dedicated to because I have the Royal African Women, the voice of the African women. It's my award today.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
It is amazing.
Oh my God. Did you see his profile? Did you listen to his profile? In fact, let's move away from profile. You needed to hear what His Royal Majesty was saying. I want you to take that. From that moment where you were talking, you said some things that were very deep about Africa. And I want to just take a bit.
That shall not touch. The giving of the law, the instruction not to touch is the law. So life is governed by law. That's why If you don't know how to sit well and violate the law of sitting, you have respect. So everything is by law. Even as we are talking, you have the right to say whatever you want to say, but don't offend me. I want to say there is a control. So God created the law to guide man. Then number two, God created time. There is time for everything. So life revolves around time. The time to be born, the time to die. The time to cry, the time to laugh. The time to suffer, the time to not to enjoy. So life is all about time. And therefore we must know how to manage time. One of the problems African time is management of time. Here, the popular one, African time, it is bad. We reset the time, bringing back ourselves back by being lazy, not making the focus of the time now. Like you are now, this is the time. If you miss this type of meeting me, hearing from me, and you lose it, you will lose so much information, you will lose so much contact, you will lose so much. So God has given us time for everything. So when you maximize your time, you bring in profit, you bring in productivity. You can within this short time, this time you can speak to the Lord. But after this, you now send it in the social media. You are just meet in your time. Then number 3 is labor. When God created the garden, He said, "Go, till the garden and produce from there." So God also equipped the garden with the mineral resources. The money comes from the earth. Every good thing comes from the earth. The award we have today is a earthly material. Everything comes from the earth. So we must crack the earth. I am positioned.
Yeah, that's in everybody. Unification of
And the unification starts with the leadership, which is the royalty. Okay? God is an authority, and He set up the family structure and position the man. But the man cannot do without the woman. He saw, He said, it is not good for a man to be alone. He made for the woman. And in the day He made Eve, for Adam, the family was set. And Adam was complete. Adam was not known until Eve came. And Eve was the first creature on earth, the first human being created by God that preached the gospel of the gospel of Bible was Eve. Because the devil was the first false prophet who came to preach to the word of God. And the woman used the word of God to counter him. So the man was not quiet. So the man didn't do anything. He didn't say anything. And again, in the ministry of Jesus, he had 24 women in the ministry. Read the Bible. Jesus had 24 women who ministered to him in substance of money, physical cash, and needs. And no man was ever recorded in the country. So that's the importance of it. And the Africa is the mother earth. And the earth will give birth to every good thing, the tree of life. And that's why we cannot do we cannot do it. Multiply. Women come to increase. Women come to multiply. Okay? So now the first industry God created in Africa, in the garden, in the world, was farm. It was agriculture. And that is why He said we should have this so that we will have food. Man was created. So the first 3 principles of administration